Caesar's life. This is a thrilling tale about a Roman general and politician who left a lasting legacy on not only Roman but world history. Caesar expanded the Roman Empire and also utilized his power to enlarge the Senate. He enforced extensive reforms to strengthen the Roman government and gain more power. Episode 1: The Early Years. Julius Caesar was born on July 12th or 13th in 100 BC in Rome, Italy. He was born to Gaius Caesar and Aurelia. He grew up in the Roman slums of Subaru. At 16, he became the head of his household. Despite not being wealthy, Caesar was very well educated while growing up. He was educated by his private tutor, Marcus Antonius Nympho. He learned the basics of reading, writing, public speaking, and law. When Caesar was just 16 years old, his father died, so he had to step up. Episode 2: The Sulla Scandal. In 84 BC, Caesar married Cornelia. She was the ally of his uncle, Gaius Marius. The civil war between Marius and Sulla was escalating at the same time, and the odds were not looking good for Caesar. The war progressed and eventually resulted in Sulla's victory. Due to his growth and power, he demanded for Caesar and Cornelia to get divorced. He refused and as a result was forced into hiding. Caesar was also deprived of all of his inheritance. Episode 3: The Comeback. Caesar joins the army and fights at the siege of Miletum in 80 BC. He earns a civic crown. He returns to Rome following Sulla's death. Caesar earned the Roman civic crown after the battle because he acted with distinction. After he returned to Rome, he focused on his oratory skills. Episode 4: The Kidnapping. While on his way to study oratory in Rhodes, Caesar is kidnapped by pirates. Caesar was captured in the Aegean Sea. At this time, the Mediterranean Sea had a problem with pirates. Caesar refused to behave like a captive and outsmarted the pirates. Episode 5: Political Takeoff. After his encounter with the pirates, Caesar officially began his political career. He first became the military tribune and quaestor in 69 BC. After his wife Cornelia had died, Caesar married Pompeia. She was related to Pompey the Great, and he later formed an alliance with him. In 65 BC, Caesar was elected aedile, and then eventually was elected Pontifex Maximus. Episode 6: The First Triumvirate. Caesar later became the governor of Spain and senior Roman consul in 59 BC. Caesar, Crassus, and Pompey soon formed an alliance. This alliance was unstoppable because it was made up of three such powerful men. Caesar and Pompey were influential generals, and Crassus was very wealthy. They had the ability to control the entire Roman political system. Episode 7: The Gaul Years. Caesar commanded a large army in Gaul after being appointed governor. His conquest of Gaul established his influence as a military leader. Caesar built a bridge across the Rhine River into German territories to cross into Britain. However, his great successes in the region caused Pompey to resent him. Once Caesar conquered Gaul, Rome was not looking good politically. After Pompey's wife died, he aligned with Caesar's opponents and forced him to give up his army and return to Rome. After Caesar refused, he had his army cross the Rubicon River, which eventually triggered a civil war. Caesar and his men pursued Pompey to Spain, Greece, and Egypt. Episode 8: Cleopatra. Cleopatra began to form a plan of meeting Julius Caesar to get him as an ally. She needed a way to regain her throne. Cleopatra immediately charmed Caesar, and they became lovers, and she linked herself to the Roman Empire. However, Caesar soon found himself caught in the middle of a war between Cleopatra and Ptolemy. Episode 9: The Curia. Caesar wiped out his enemies in the Middle East, Africa, and Spain. In 46 BC, he was made the Roman dictator. On March 15th, 44 BC, known as the Ides of March, Julius Caesar was murdered at a Senate meeting. He was stabbed to death by a group of senators at the Curia of Pompey because they feared that he had too much power. Caesar's best friend, Brutus, was behind the assassination. Caesar lived until he was 55 years old.